Well, hello everybody and welcome back down into the dungeon. I want to start today's video off by saying a huge thank you to those few people that are supporting my channel through the Patreon account. I very much appreciate everything that you guys have been doing for me over the months, and look forward to trying to do more for you as this carries on. Getting a little better with the platform. I'm a learn as you go kind of guy. Thank you for bearing with me. Today, in the spirit of learn as you go, I am faking that smart garden. I decided that since the lights were the part of that didn't work, and I've already got lights, I can basically make the rest on my own out of those little tiny party cups that I've got and a big old green tote. So basically, step by step, that is the plan today. Now, for ages I've had this tote just kind of kicking around. It stored a whole bunch of seeds for me in the past, but unfortunately it got knocked over several times and all those seeds kind of kicked around loose and were free ranging it. So now I have a little tiny cup full of, I don't even know what kind of seeds these are. I think we'll be planting them today in the spirit of like the random pepper garden, so that'll be fun. But first, I want to alter this. In order to try and keep things neat, I am going to use the hole saw today. These are a handy little thing. If you don't have one, you probably should. Unfortunately, I was cheap when I got mine. There's only like 4 or 5 different sizes. And my choice here is either for the cup to sit about halfway up, or the next size up. These things just drop right on through. So we're going to go with the elevated cup for the size, which is this one here. Kind of, I don't want to say measured, but placed them out. It looks like I can get 14 of these little things in here. So it's a little crowded, but I'm basically looking at this as an opportunity to try cloning some pepper plants, and or maybe a few other things, who knows, and or to continue on sprouting like I was doing with that smart garden, because that seemed to work, and if it works I want to just keep working it, you know. Always seems like the pump and the aquaponic garden or the furnace are going while I'm trying to work down here, but anywho, these are my 2 little bits of vermiculite left over from the actual smart garden. And those Sugar Rush peach seeds, in theory, nice and moist in there. I'm not going to make you listen to this 14 times, but I am going to do this once so that I can demonstrate the concept here. When you're working with a hole saw going through plastic, you want to get your initial pilot hole going, but as soon as the outer bit starts to cut, you really want to switch this into reverse and pressure your way through that way, because you end up with a much cleaner cut at the end of it. Sorry about the sound, but I kind of warned you that was coming. I'm going to do that 13 more times off camera, get back to you. So for this to work, I need water to get up into these cups from our reservoir here. It's nice and quick little process. You can see what I've done. Hopefully you can see in the camera what I've done with this one here. I'll demonstrate really quickly. Just take the scissors, cut a line off the side, cut a line off the other side. I don't want it too big, so I don't want my peat moss slipping through. Just need enough room that moisture can get in and out of there. Doesn't take much. So far it looks like the most complicated part of this was spacing, which I, with my typical bear-like impatience, did manage to muddle that one up a little bit. But that's fine. Go through and cut the bottoms out of the rest of these. Get back to you. Alright, so I took a look at what's already grown on around here, and as usually happens on the channel, we suffered a kind of a quick change in plans. What I've got here are all of the, well, a lot of the unknown peppers that sprouted up in the compost. We're going to put these in here now. I've got the Sugar Rush peach seeds that were left by our little rodent invader. Hopefully they're going to sprout. And I'm going to put a couple of cuttings in here to see how this does as a cloning situation. But it occurred to me I really don't need to be sprouting any more seeds at this point. I've got that 72 cell tray with a lot of things already popping up. So maybe I should kind of deal with them first. Let's put this under the light, and then I'll figure out which of those happy peppers from the overwintered peppers we're going to take some cuttings from. So I think in the name of survival of the species, we're going to take a cutting from the El Oro de Ecuador, and hopefully, you know, we'll actually get something to root here. I'm going to wash it off in the fish tank to get rid of any and all aphids that might be on here, and then probably split it right at the V there. Seems about right. So I didn't bother putting any rooting hormone or anything on the bottom of this. I just shoved them straight into the peat moss, and it's been dry for a little while, so this is a little bit hydrophobic. We're going to need to fill up our reservoir, and as it sits, this will slowly absorb some of that moisture for us, so not too much of an issue, but we need to figure out what point is our fill point here. Alright, so this is basically transparent enough that we can kind of see where the bottom of the cups is. So I'm just going to roughly call that my fill line. Now, I need to get some water, don't I? As we look in there now, we can see the bottom of all of those cups just barely in the water. So, I can adjust them if I need to, lift them up or shove it down a little bit more. It all kind of works. So basically what we've got here is a larger version of that Smart Garden, more or less, kind of. I figure there's no real risk with any of these peppers. I don't know what they are because they kind of sprouted up in the compost anyway, so if they die, no harm, no foul. But I can still easily pick them up to go paintbrush the aphids into the fish tank, so I should still be able to defend them like the ones down in the little black tray. Everything down here, except for maybe these three, I actually know what all of those peppers are back there, so that's kind of exciting. Good start, good start. Very promising. I'll be quite curious to see what comes of this, whether or not our little rodent friend attacks it. So many questions. But everything is, you know, kind of nicely spaced at the moment, and we'll just kind of see how this works out. As I understand it, the biggest difference between that Smart Garden and an Aero Garden is an air stone. So if we have any problems with this, I might upgrade it that extra 10-15 bucks, get a little air pump. But otherwise, this is basically the Smart Garden. Let's see, we'll call it at max $10 for a tote because it's a long drive for a dollar store, less than $2 worth of cups, and I built these lights for 25 bucks, so way less than the cost of that Smart Garden. And that is where I'm going to wrap it up today. We'll check back on that in the days and weeks ahead. Hopefully I'll have something positive to report, but yeah, you never know around here. Could go either way. So once again, I want to thank you guys for joining me, and thanks again to you Patreons for supporting me. I really do appreciate that, and I will see you next time. Take care, everybody. Finally got this out. Never did get the LED lights behind it. Can't quite find them, but I will one of these days, and then I'll make that frame. Still looks pretty good though. Thanks again, Mark.